It's very strange to me that the police haven't been able to find Bam. Bam did say he was afraid the police were going to show up and put him in a straitjacket. Bam did say that he was afraid that he wasn't going to be able to finish this interview series. Bam did say that he was free, but he was scared. And you will be seeing that interview very soon. Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday? I am doing, to be honest, I've been better, but the show must go on. As you can see, I still haven't even fully reset my office back up from the whole BAM interaction. I mean, I think I'm going to do like a Q&A or like a debrief or something eventually after all the dust settles, and I'll tell y'all kind of some more of the behind the scenes and what happened and all of that. But as you probably have seen in the news, Bam Margera is reportedly missing. Now, originally I was trying to wait to see if Bam was going to be found before I made any comments on this, because to be quite honest, I don't really want to involve myself in an active manhunt. So at first I really just wanted to let the police and the family handle the whole manhunt situation, because I don't really have anything at all whatsoever to do with that. But now it's been 2 days, I guess coming up on 3 days since Bam has been reported missing. And it is very strange to me that the state police haven't been able to find him. Additionally, it seems like Bam's brother may be going through a very serious mental health journey of his own. This is just in my opinion, based on the absolute mania that seems to be going on his Twitter. So at first I was going to wait to comment on this until Bam was found. But now I'm realizing it's just starting to get very, very weird that he hasn't been found. Apparently, according to Jess Margera's tweets, Bam was only in the woods for about an hour. He's not there anymore. I have people reaching out to me asking me if I know Bam's whereabouts. So let me just make it very clear right off the bat. I do not know Bam's whereabouts. He did not tell me he would be running anywhere. He is certainly not at my house. I even had Prem go and do a whole perimeter check. I don't know where Bam is. And Bam does not have his own phone. He does not own a cell phone. The way that I was communicating with Bam was through other people's cell phones. Bam does not have a cell phone. I even asked him several times while he was at my house, on both times he was here, why don't you just get your own phone? And he was like, because I don't really need one. I don't really want one. And he didn't say this, but it did come to mind that they had used his phone to track his location before, according to him.
I found out every time I escape or leave, my guardian, who I thought was on my side, would find out my location, because either I would tell her or she would track down my GPS on my phone.
So I don't know where Bam is. I do have a few documents that I can show y'all that are official documents, not no TMZ bullshit. So let me pull those up now. All right. So what we're looking at here is a docket report. The docket number of his case is here. Thank you to Christina for pulling this for me. This was on April 23rd and today is April 26th. This was 3 days ago. When I first saw this, I thought that Bam was actually arrested, because it does say arresting agency, Avondale, Pennsylvania State Police, and it does have an arresting officer, John Windling. But then if you look up here, arrest date, there is nothing listed. And as you probably have seen in the news, he actually has not been apprehended. So here are the counts of what he is alleged to have done. Simple assault, this word, threats with intent to terrorize another, and there's 4 counts of that. And then there's a harassment, which subjects others to physical contact. Now, if you look at different news reports, it says that maybe Bam had gotten into an altercation, a physical altercation with his brother, Jess, again, the one who seems to be spiraling out of control on Twitter. And also, Jess, like if you watch my most recent video, Jess also had questioned whether I provided Bam with the illegal substance that actually killed my own father. Yes, he stooped that low. He went so far as to ask me if I provided Bam, someone who I care about, substances, which actually killed my own father. Yes, just Margera asked me that. Yeah, that's the level of depravity going on inside that cranium. Anyway, the more time that goes by, the more I start to really piece together some of the stuff that Bam told me during his interview sessions with me. So, as y'all know, part one of my 3-part Bam Margera interview series did release. It came out on Monday, so 2 days ago. We will be releasing part two very soon, just as soon as we possibly can. I mean, if it's ready today, we'll release it today. If it's ready tomorrow, we'll release it tomorrow, but it's coming soon. In the interview, y'all are going to hear me ask Bam, "Are you free?" And he's kind of taken aback by that question. He's like, I'm like, that's a weird question. And then he says, "Oh, I see what you're asking." Now, this interview that I'm referencing right now, you're going to see it. I did it a week ago, Wednesday. Bam Margera was back there in those chairs on Wednesday, a week ago, April 19th, I think it was. Yes, April 19th. I said, "Are you free?" Bam said, "That's a weird question." "Oh, I see what you're asking." And then he said, "Yes, I am free right now, but I'm scared. I'm scared because since I have been free, I was at the shaman's house. He's a very private person, and he doesn't like people to know his address. He's letting me live with him, but he doesn't let any of my skater friends or my buddies or anybody come over there. It's a dry house. I'm not allowed to drink there. But the shaman let me give my mom his address so that my mom could visit." And Bam told me that it was the day that he was scheduled to leave. He was leaving. He was flying out of like San Diego, San Francisco. I don't remember, saying something. Y'all will see it in the interview though. And he said his mom called the shaman's house, called Bam's girlfriend Jessica's phone. Jessica answers, and April said, "You guys can't leave. You have to switch your flight. You can't leave right now. TMZ is swarming the airport." Now, this is all coming from Bam, and you will hear his words. The only reason I'm telling you now is because I think it might help people to understand context. And the video ain't edited yet. It's just not ready yet. We have to match up all the audio and all that. It's just, we're tired. I mean, look, I haven't even put my studio back together. Like, we are working very hard. Y'all will hear Bam say this, but he said, April, my mom, called and said, "Don't leave yet. TMZ is at the airport. You have to change your flights." Well, Bam's exact words were, "It was a ruse to stall me and my girlfriend from leaving because Lima Yevremovich was on her way to the shaman's house with a bunch of Bam's friends and a camera crew to stage yet another intervention." Now, after the first interview that I did with Bam aired, at like 1 or 2 in the morning, TMZ did put out an article about this very intervention. Why TMZ is putting articles out about failed intervention attempts in the middle of the night is anybody's guess. But the timing was a little bit strange, especially considering my interview with Bam, where he had started to expose this intervention, had just aired only hours earlier. So Bam said, "I'm free right now, but I'm scared because I've already been set up in a ruse since I've been free. Someone called and said, there's TMZ at the airport. You got to stay at the shaman's house. Don't leave, don't leave." All the while, a camera crew, Lima, Bam's former guardian, and a bunch of Bam's friends were on their way to stage an intervention. Now, interventions in and of themselves, I don't think are bad or wrong. The problem arises whenever the person is taken somewhere against their consent or against their will. And clearly in that case, Bam was not, because I think he would have told me about it. He was in my house. He wasn't there. But I said, wait, Bam, stop. I have to stop you right there. Are you trying to tell me that since you've been out of these forced rehabs, that Lima Yevremovich has tried to put you in rehab again against your will? And Bam said she wanted me to go to one of those camps where you shovel whatever, manure or whatever. And then Bam, he's funny. He made a funny little joke and said, like, "I've made $20 million on skateboards alone. Like, I'm not going somewhere and shoveling shit," which I thought was funny. But he said, "I'm scared that the police are going to show up at my house and put me in a straitjacket for no reason. He said, I am afraid that I'm going to get locked up against my will for no reason. And I said this in my intro to the interview on BJ Investigates, and I guess it was a little bit ambiguous or confusing because I guess the way that I said it made it seem like I told Bam that I never wanted to interview him again, and that's not the case. I was going to interview Bam again, and I will interview Bam again if he wants to be interviewed, but we got to get all this manhunt stuff sorted out first, and I don't want anything to do with that. What had happened was I interviewed Bam on Sunday, so about a week and a half ago. I interviewed him again on Wednesday because he reached out and wanted to do another interview. After Wednesday, he messaged me again. I believe it was on Friday. He text messaged me from someone else's phone and said, hey, I want to come by again. I'm going to be free tomorrow and Sunday. He said, I'm going to be in Princeton anyway on Sunday for an energy drink deal. And if you're around, we can do another interview. So this is on Friday. So he was inviting himself on Saturday and Sunday to do interviews. Unfortunately, I had already had pre-existing commitments on Saturday and Sunday. But my commitments on Sunday were such that I was only going to be gone for the morning. So I told him on Friday, I said, sorry, I'm not going to be available until Monday to do another interview. Now, fast forward, what do we know today? He went missing on Sunday. But I did get finished with my plans on Sunday. Early in the morning, I was back at my house and he could have come. So I just kind of waited around for him to text and he never did text. Well, come to find out, Sunday was the day that everything was going down with the going missing and the assault and all that. So I do have a little bit of regret that I didn't cancel my Saturday commitments and say, I really just need to interview Bam because quite frankly, that might have been my last opportunity to do it. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I didn't interview him that day because they're already trying to blame me somehow for all of this assault and all of this stuff, which is not my fault. I don't take any responsibility for it. And I think they're ridiculous for even postulating that theory. But the last time I talked to Bam in person and saw him was Wednesday. The last time I discussed anything about his actual case with him, his freedom or anything like that was Wednesday. So yes, we did text about 5 or 6 texts back and forth having to do with planning. Can I come Saturday? Can I come Sunday? I said, Sunday, if you're going to be in Princeton anyway, I might be back home. Let's just check back in on Sunday and see if we're available or whatever. He sends a purple heart or whatever. And that was that. Well, I didn't hear from him again and I didn't message him again. And the reason I didn't message him again is because he doesn't have his own cell phone. So I don't know who he's with at any given time. So I actually had messaged him before on someone else's cell phone earlier. He didn't end up actually being with that person. The person texted me back as if he was with them. So it's just like a total mind. So unless or until Bam has his own phone, I'm not going to be texting with people saying they're Bam. If he's right in front of my face, I'll talk to him. But I don't know who any of these people really are. There were 3 separate people that Bam brought around the house during his interviews, and 2 of them came together one day, and 1 of them came with Bam on the other time. All of the people seemed nice. They were nothing but pleasant. They were nothing but respectful. But I just don't know who any of these people are. And so, I mean, there have been a couple people on the Jackass crew and stuff reaching out to me, asking me if I know where Bam is, if I know his whereabouts. No, I don't. And if I did, I'm not telling some random people. I maybe would tell the cops if they asked me, but the cops have not reached out to me, which is another very, very weird thing. For all this stuff allegedly apparently being my fault, nobody has reached out to me from any official sources saying, hey, do you know Bam's whereabouts? Do you know where he is? No cops have reached out to me. And the direct family members have not reached out to me. So when I first found out Bam was missing, I didn't make any comment on it because I was just kind of waiting for him to be apprehended. It doesn't seem like it should be that hard to find a person. But now it's been, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days have gone by and I'm starting to actually get a little bit worried. I don't know where he is, but it doesn't seem like the cops are trying that hard to find him. Nobody has even asked me if I even know where he is. And now I'm putting a statement out here publicly. Y'all don't contact me. This is all I have to say. I don't know where Bam is, but I truly hope that he is safe. I truly hope that he is around people who are treating him with dignity and respect. And the last time I talked to Bam in person, he told me he was afraid. He said, I'm free right now, but I am afraid. It was a ruse. It was a trap. The last time I gave my mom my address because she gave it to Lima, and Lima showed up with camera crews and my friends. Now, in the news, TMZ, if you want to call that news, they said that Bam's girlfriend, Jessica, was the reason that the intervention didn't go through because Bam's girlfriend didn't want it to happen. That is not what Bam said. Bam said the reason it didn't happen was number one, he didn't want it to happen. And number two, the shaman is very private and did not allow or consent for any of those people to be on his property. So he kicked him off the property. He said, look, listen, y'all can't be here. This is the no camera zone. So to me, it seems like before this whole Bam went missing fiasco, they were trying to stage an intervention, the family in Lima, according to Bam. And they were trying to get him to go back to a rehab of sorts. All of this information will be in the upcoming interview that's going to be coming out. I mean, I would say, I wish it would come out in 5 minutes. We're working on it around the clock. It should be out soon. I mean, I don't want to give any exact dates because then people look forward to it. But I mean, in the next few days, it will be out. And then we have a part 3 coming that we'll be working on as well. And then I need a vacation. So y'all need to leave me alone. Just kidding, mostly. I was gonna go through Jess Margera's Twitter and just kind of read some of these tweets and say, like, you know, if my sister or brother was missing, I probably wouldn't be tweeting about like Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News. It's also very, very ironic to me that April Margera did an interview with Fox News about Bam, but Jess does nothing but talk shit about Fox News all the damn time. He's even used Fox News as an insult against me before. Like, oh my God, this comment section looks like Fox News. Okay, well, go talk to your fucking mama about it because she just did a whole entire ass exclusive interview with Fox News. So figure out y'all shit over there. I'm not even going to go into this whole Twitter. I'm going to just say, you know, don't send hate to anybody mentioned in this video, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if the allegations being made against Bam are true. Quite frankly, in my personal opinion and belief, I'm not inclined to believe they're true because some of the stuff that allegedly Bam said, Jess Margera was quoting verbatim 3 or 2 days before Bam even said that, allegedly said that stuff. I did have the opportunity, unfortunate opportunity, to overhear a conversation that Bam was having with his parents. He did say some aggressive things to them. None of the things he said had anything to do with them being unalived. In fact, when I brought up Jess in particular to Bam, Bam seemed to really like Jess, and he didn't seem to have anything bad to say about him. It actually seemed like he trusted him and loved him as his brother. He wasn't talking about Jess. I was saying your brother don't like me because Bam was like, hey, for the next interview, will you come to the castle and do the interview? And I said, I will never go to that castle in my life. And he was like, why? And I said, because your brother hates me. He absolutely despises me. And Bam kind of laughed and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll probably booby trap the place. And Bam kind of laughed. I said, I'm not going there. I'm never going to the castle as long as Jess Margera lives there. And even probably after, because who knows what he has in that house. And Bam laughed and he was like, all right, I guess I'll have to keep coming here for all 10 parts of the interview. And you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, on the first day that Bam came here, he was leaving. He was gathering up his belongings. It was in this room right here. He stood back there. He said, you know what, BJ? We should tell everyone that we already recorded parts 1 through 10. So Lima doesn't try to interfere and get in the middle of this and, you know, stop it, because if she thinks she can stop it, she will. I just remembered that right now in the middle of making this video. He said we should lie and say that the first 10 parts of the interview are already filmed, because he was scared that once specifically Lima found out that she would try to stop us. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what Bam predicted on Sunday, April 16th, 2023. It's also possible Bam and Jess just got into a brawl. It's possible they both got some licks in. Jess Margera said that he's not really hurt. So if he's not really hurt, I don't know why he called the cops, but that's neither here nor there for me. I don't know, man. This is a very complicated situation for me to be in because I started as an outside reporter, kind of reporting on the situation and just showing y'all publicly available documents. Quickly, I developed a theory that Bam wasn't in a whole lot of control of his own life. Since then, I've been able to meet Bam, and I can tell you one thing: he doesn't even have a phone. So I don't know. I mean, I asked him about his money. He said he has his credit card information tattooed on him. I don't know why he would do that. There's just a lot going on that I personally I don't know how to respond to this. I don't know how to really act. I do know that I'm not going to go on a manic Twitter spiral like some people involved in the situation. And I do know that I want to stay very far away from anything involving this manhunt until that is resolved. I have always said Bam deserves freedom. And if he commits crimes, he should be dealt with by the criminal justice system. But that's a big if he commits crimes. And people need to be considered innocent until proven guilty. It's not fair that because Bam has struggled and suffered with substance abuse, that he's necessarily seen as some type of non credible liar. That's not fair. People are allowed to have illnesses and struggles without being considered a liar. They're allowed to struggle with things and have problems without everyone assuming that they are necessarily a deranged, violent criminal. Maybe Bam did hit Jess. To be honest, where I come from, Jess would have probably got hit by his brother. That don't make it right. That doesn't make it okay, and I'm not condoning it. But Jess was on Instagram for 3 days prior to this alleged altercation, calling Bam everything but a child of God, telling people that he was on telling people that he was unhinged and hallucinating and all this stuff. I don't know if it's true. I can tell you one thing: Bam did not use violence against me. He did not use violence against anyone in this house. He did not hit or throw anything in this house. And he was very upset at times by looking at some of this footage and things. None of that happened here. So I can't vouch for any of that. But I can promise you one thing. If one of my family members was on the internet telling everybody I was on for 3 straight days and just kept going and going, I'd probably be a little upset. It's very strange to me that the police haven't been able to find Bam. Bam did say he was afraid the police were going to show up and put him in a straitjacket. Bam did say that he was afraid that he wasn't going to be able to finish this interview series. Bam did say that he was free, but he was scared. And you will be seeing that interview very soon. If I have more information to share, I will come and share it. To be honest, I really want to stay out of making comments about the whole manhunt missing situation until he's actually found. But I will be happy to turn over the footage that I do have to the police, and even including the redacted footage that I'm not going to be able to air on YouTube. I have no problem working with them for that. And I have no problem sharing with them some alternative theories of the case as to why this might not be exactly what it seems like if you only take one side of the people in the story's perspective. That's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, Mina. Okay, bye.